What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Review. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to my main man Mark. He keeps on requesting me to do an album. He requested me to do this masterpiece right here, Mos Def's Black on Both Sides, released in 1999 on Rawkus/Priority Records. Okay, Mos Def, or should I say now he is known as Yasmin Babe, but Mos Def, he's an MC from Brooklyn. He originally got to start. He was originally got to start he was known for being an actor. In his early days, he was an actor and an MC. In the year 1994, he was in the I believe he was in the show The Cosby Mysteries, which was a short-lived show. Bill Cosby wanted to do a short-lived mystery show. It only ran for a season though. Then fast forward to 1996, he was in this group. Hold on, give me a minute.
Can you repeat that for me, so? What's your life about? Enlighten me. Cause you gon' live on your knees.
And it was at that group he did with his God, his brother, I think, his sister and friend. It was at the Urban Thermodynamics, and they recorded this album. I forgot the name of the album at the moment, but see, that album actually got shelved, and it wasn't released until about 2004, I believe. 2004, one of those years. And it was, from what I heard, it was a pretty dope album and stuff like that. And fast forward to 1996, he appeared on De La Soul's The Stakes Is High album and stuff like that. That was how people first got to notice him. And he dropped his first single, Universal Magnetic. Then that same time he met Talib Kweli. They worked at a bookstore together, and they had a love for music, hip hop and jazz in general. And they made up this album called Mos Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star. That album I do have in my collection. I'm gonna do a review on that in a couple more weeks. And that album is a hip hop classic in my opinion. And the thing about that album was very important because around the time of Tupac and Biggie's death, a lot of people wanted more uplifting sound to hip hop. So these guys made that album at the right time though. And so what else? That next year, Talib Kweli, they didn't really break up. They just wanted to do more solo stuff. Excuse me. So Talib Kweli, he started working on the whole high tech, the Reflection Internal, and Mos Def, he dropped the Black on Both Sides album in 1999. What else? Single, the album is known for are Mathematics, My Umi Says, and Miss Fat Booty. And producers on this album, Mos Def, he's the executive producer. Diamond D, DITC Diamond D, Geology, 88 Keys, very underrated producer. DJ Premier, Ayatollah, D Prosper, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, yes, that the Tribe Called Quest, Psycho Les, DJ Action Sketch, David Kennedy. This was released at a time when hip hop, a lot of underground hip hop was on fire, and with the whole underground hip hop was on fire, especially with the whole Rawkus Records movement. You had that's one of my favorite eras of hip hop, the whole Rawkus from 1997, 98 to about 2002. He had albums Black on Both Sides, Sound Bombing 2, Big L, The Big Picture, I believe Company Flow, Fun Stretches, Plus. I believe that was a Rawkus release. I mean, albums look like those, like they're really like they're definitely on that conscious tip of hip hop. And the thing about this album in particular was it used like a whole lot of live instrumentation, like a lot of live instrumentation. And that was like really, and like groups like the people like the Roots, they were like the only people that were doing that. Alright, let me get started with the songs. Oh yeah, I forgot guest appearances on the album. Weldon Irvin, rest in peace. Busta Rhymes, Talib Kweli, Vanilla Mojica, I think I said her name, and Q-Tip. Alright, now let's get started with the song. Track number 1, Fear Not of Man. Mos Def produced the beat to that. Pretty dope song. Nice way to start that whole album. Sorry about that. Track number 2, Hip Hop. Another dope song right there. From what I read up on an interview about this song, Mos Def said that this song was not like supposed to be like a reflection of us and a commentary, and there's explicit commentary and things of that nature. And so it's basically saying like you have to look at yourself due to like the music you listen to. That's probably what I got from the song. Track number 3, Love. That's another dope song right there. He's basically talking about like how he loves certain things like hip hop, his family, and himself in particular. Track number 4, Miss Fat Booty. That was a big single back in like 1999 to 2000. That song right there, like it caught a lot of people off guard though, you know, because like Mos Def, he was like this conscious rapper, and for him to come out with a song called Miss Fat Booty, it was like he was really thinking out the box at that time though. Like a lot of people kind of bash that song, saying that, oh, he's talking about booty, but he's saying he's a conscious rapper. But the point of the song is like he's paying tribute to black women. Like a lot of people, he's paying tribute to like black women in particular, and he loves his girl. And so he's not like degrading her like you would hear these days. He's just saying it's just like a funny but like a cool song though. And what I also love about the song is the sample. That Aretha Franklin sample was like, from what I read, it was like a rare sample, and no one has not heard it since like. If you're like Aretha Franklin fan, like you wouldn't hear that song for like the 60s, but they brought it back and put it like in the 90s fashion. They made a couple remixes to the song, like the Miss Fat Booty Your Mama edition, and he also made a part 2 of this song with Ghostface Killah. That was I think one of those the Sound Bombing 2, I believe that was on that album. But either the Sound Bombing 2 or the Lyricist Lounge. I have to look that up again. But other than that, Miss Fat Booty is a classic song. You play that song in the club and everyone will go crazy. What's the next one? Track number 5, Speed Law. Cool song. He's talking about how MC should slow down and don't go like far. Hold up. Like don't always go too far ahead and stuff. Track number 6, Do It Now, featuring Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes around this time was killing the game. Like the Busta Rhymes I like is like from the 90s, a little bit from like the 2000s. But like this was like before he joined Young Money. I don't know why he did that, but hey. What I love about this song is like Busta Rhymes and Mos Def were kind of going that back and forth with their like wordplay and lyricism, and that's one thing I love about hip hop back in the day. Like rappers used to go like back and forth. Like a good example of that is like Big Pun and Fat Joe's Twins, the Deep Cover '98. Like the way they were going back and forth, their wordplay. But I'm getting off topic right now. Other than that, that was a pretty dope song, classic song right there. Track number 7, Got. Ali Shaheed Muhammad produced that one. Self-explanatory. He's talking about how people always get played a lot and how he's explaining how he doesn't really get played in the streets. Track number 8, My Umi Says. This is hands down my favorite song off this whole album. In case you guys don't know, from what I looked up, Umi means mother in Arabic. And what I got from this song is like, he has that like, he's going through like his philosophical phase. And he's telling people like, live your life the way every day. And he's talking about stuff like unity and black pride, soul. So this is like what I love about Mos Def right here. Track number 9, New World Water. Like a political song right there. He's on that political tip. He's talking about like society and the corruption of the government. And he's also talking about, he also mentions slavery in America and how we're still in slavery to this day. Track number 10, Rock and Roll. That's my second favorite song off this whole album. Excuse me. I said MF Doom, Operation Greenbacks. Classic song right there off the Operation Doomsday album. Very dope album right there. I'm gonna do a review on that soon. Alright, back to track number 10, Rock and Roll. That's like my second favorite song of this whole album. That song was actually a controversial. It has like controversial topics because in that song he's explaining how blacks were like the originator of rock and roll, and he says that he doesn't respect the fact that people call Elvis Presley King when you have people like like Little Richard and Chuck Berry. Basically, at the time they created rock and roll, and even Elvis himself, from what I read, he didn't like being called the king of rock and roll. He called Fats Domino the king of rock and roll. But I'm getting like really too much in this song. I'm going a little off topic. I'm gonna do a video response on this song probably one day in the future. Track number 11, Know That, featuring Talib Kweli. Another dope song right there. Track number 12, Climb, featuring Veneer Mojica. Weldon Irvin, Etch a Sketch, and Mos Def produced that one. For those of you who don't know who Weldon Irvin is, he's a jazz musician. He was like, if you guys heard that song by Jay-Z, Dear Summer, Jay-Z actually sampled him on that song, and he was like a big like jazz musician back in the 70s, and when his career was drying up, he came back because like a lot of people were influenced by him, like hip hop and R&B. So he came back to do the hip hop thing like the late 90s. But I believe in like 2002, from my right, he actually killed himself. I think he killed himself in 2002. So rest in peace to Weldon Irvin. Like, he's a very underrated musician. Track number 13, Brooklyn. That's another dope song right there. I'm gonna give you a little trivia on that song. See, he's like rapping over like these dope, like 3 classic like songs from Book of Rappers and things like that. And like, I believe the original version of that song, it was I think like it had a sample and they didn't want to clear the sample, so from what actually what was it? He had to like sing. Oh damn! Excuse me, I have to cheat a little bit. Yeah, like the only verse he did on the original version was on the one where he rapped over the Biggie beat, because it's separated into 3 parts, and that's the only one he had the original version of. Track number 4, Habitat. That's a pretty alright song. Track number 15. Mr. Nigga featuring Q-Tip. Basically, if you're a fan of A Tribe Called Quest, Suck a Nigga off the Midnight Marauders album, then you'll most definitely love this song, because the whole story about the song is like, the whole story about the song is basically about how a wealthy black man, he made a name for himself, but like he's still getting treated poorly by like other races due to his race. So that's why you say Mr. Nigga, Mr. So basically, like Mr. Nigga is basically a little sequel to Suck a Nigga, if you really think about it. Track number 16, Mathematics. That's a DJ Premier beat. Probably one of my favorite Primo beats he did up until that point. Basically, another trivia about the song. He had to use a different sample than the original version of Mathematics, because sample clearances. And so basically, this whole song is basically about Mos Def explaining the differences between like the blacks and the whites and other minorities in the USA. So another dope song right there. And track number 17, Made Through December. Cool song, and that's it. Other than that, this is a classic album. Like, Mos Def was definitely ahead of his time when he did his whole album. Excuse me. Like, this song talks about racism, like religion, rock and roll and stuff, and political stuff. This was definitely, in my opinion, one of my top 10 conscious hip-hop albums of all time. And from what I read, this album was actually re-released last year too on vinyl. So if you guys can find that album, pick it up. You will not be disappointed. Mos Def, like, whenever I think about like Mos Def, I always think about I sometimes compare it to like Andre 3000 a little bit, because not like it's like take this for example, like you have Outkast, you have Black Star. A lot of people always tend, if you're an Outkast fan, a lot of people tend to like focus more on Andre 3000, and in Black Star, a lot of people tend to focus more on Mos Def. But I'm not trying to diss the both rappers though, but and then both Mos Def, Andre 3000 always go out the box, like singing and doing rock, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say that. So, but other than that, this is a dope album. Mos Def is definitely in my top MCs of all time. What else about this album? I think that's it. So pick this album up and stay tuned for more stuff.